Beautiful. And here we have two churches with the mountains behind it. In Slovenia it's not even good enough to just have one church, you can have two churches. Now I am in a little green hilly area to the east of Ljubljana, and the church on the left is the Church of Saint Margaret. You may have seen that in some of my other videos, and it's in a little village called Prežganje. And the church on the left is the Church of Saint John in the village of Janče. Now Janče is actually the highest point in this area here, in this hilly area here. Now from this viewpoint, it's in a little village nearby. Now I'm not going to tell you where this village is for the simple reason, not that I'm trying to keep it to myself, but more because this is a very quiet area. It's a little village with local people, and you know, it wouldn't be good if lots of photographers or groups come flooding here. Okay, so for that reason, that's actually why I'm not going to tell you exactly where I am today, but I'm going to tell you that it's in this area. Okay, and the villages where the church is in is Prežganje, and the other village is Janče. So if you want to find this spot, come and do a bit of work yourself, and then you will have earned it. But come alone, don't come in groups. Okay. Now on the right, as I said, is the Church of Saint Margaret, and behind that then you've got a part of the Kamnik Alps. You've got the eastern part of the Kamnik Alps with that conical shaped mountain is called Ojstrica, I believe. Yeah. And on the left, the Church of Janče. Right behind that, then you can see a bigger part of the Kamnik Alps, and you can see also Grintovec from here. Now Grintovec is the highest peak in the Kamnik Alps. This is the name of this mountain range here. Okay, so from here basically you can isolate just the Church of Saint Margaret with the mountains behind, or you can isolate just the Church of Saint John with those set of mountains behind, or as I've just done, you can pull back a bit, use the 16:9 format and get a bit more of a panoramic and get both churches in and the full width of the Kamnik Alps. So needless to say, this is a fantastic viewpoint, and when it's clear like this, it's really great. There's some wispy clouds over the mountain tops, but otherwise it's pretty clear at the moment. It's quite windy today, so as I explained earlier, when it's windy you can't really do the long exposures. You need faster shutter speeds in order to freeze any vibration, because these long lenses, the more you extend them, the more sensitive they are to even just a little bit of wind. So it's just impossible to do a long exposure. So I won't be out here for the sunset today, but I have been out here in the past, and I'll throw a few pictures up from the last time I was out here, and I got the most fabulous sunset you wouldn't believe. You can also check out the video I made when I captured those images as well, but I'll stick a few of those pictures up here just to show you how fantastic this view is when you get a really great sunset. The sun's setting over that way, so of course I've got the polarizer on. It's very effective. When the sun is at a right angle to your scene, then the polarizer is very effective in that respect. So I've got a nice bit of cloud over the top there, as you can see in the picture. So it's really, really nice. I've got my case magnetic filter with the canine holder on there. I always keep that on there, even if I'm not using a grad filter, because it's just really easy then. At any time I can slip in a grad filter. I don't need it right now. But if I were to stay here a little bit longer, then the sun would set and the land would be thrown into the shade. So I might need like a 1 or 2 stop grad filter. So it's just handy to have it there, like that. Now there's another viewpoint further up there, okay? Now from that viewpoint though, you can't get, say, the Church of Saint Margaret with the Kamnik Alps behind, because it's further over and then you're looking more towards the hills. It's a different perspective. But you can get the Church of Saint John still with those mountains behind. But at least down here we're surrounded by some trees, and it gives a little bit of shelter from the wind, not much. You can see it's still windy, we're still quite a bit exposed, but up on that hill there it's even more exposed. But I'll take you up there in a minute, we'll see how it is. First I'll shoot a few from here. Now, as I said, we can zoom in and get a shot of each church on its own with the mountains behind. For this one I'll use the 3x2 because I want to get that bit of clouding up the top. Otherwise it's just a blue sky, it's boring. Again, when it's windy, well, you always want to do this, but especially when it's windy, you want to make sure everything is tight. Now, again, as I said, because it's windy, I've increased the ISO to 500 and I'm shooting at f11, and that's giving me 1/200th of a second. That's fast enough to freeze any vibration from the wind. But at the same time, you know, unless something really exciting is happening in the sky that could be fleeting, then it's best to wait at least until there's a break in the wind. The wind here is often very gusty more than actually consistent, so you can sometimes wait a little bit for the wind to die down a touch and grab your shot. Now for that last one I was out at 300mm focal length. But for this one I'm going to go the full 400. Now the Church of St. John at Jansze is further away, of course, so that's why. Now, because there's no cloud really above the mountains, then I'm not going to go for a higher shot. I've actually come down and included a bit more of the houses down there and the landscape below. Now, because I've done that, the sky is also quite bright, so I'm going to put a grad on now. Ideally, I would have a one-stop, but I don't actually have a one-stop, so I think I've got either a 2 or a 3-stop soft grad, because I'm going over the mountains and lots of land there. So let's see what I've got. Okay. Now I do actually have a 2-stop medium, but unfortunately this 2-stop medium grad I have from a manufacturer called Zero Filters actually at extreme focal lengths over 100, 150 you get lots of distortion, and there's a problem with it. It's a problem actually I talked about in one of my previous videos, so I'll put a link to that up here to explain more about it. But what it actually means is that I cannot use those filters on anything over 100 mil. So the 2-stop medium would actually be a good one, but in this case I can't use it. So I do have from the same manufacturer a 3-stop soft, and in the 3-stop soft I don't have this problem actually. The problem is actually in the transition area. On the medium there's actually, I think it's not optically flat, and so when you zoom in close, you zoom in closer to the transition area and it picks up this and it distorts the image. And it doesn't seem to be a problem with the soft ones actually, but on the recent ones that I've been getting from them, I've actually stopped buying from them. I've actually stopped buying from them for now, but on the recent ones I simply cannot use them over 100 mil. So I'm going to use the 3-stop soft one, which should do the trick, I think. Because it's a soft grad, because it's maybe 1 stop too much, it probably won't make a difference. It's good. There you go. I'll take a picture without it so you see the difference. There you go. I'll throw them both up there now, side by side. Okay, well, that little bit of cloud that was there has moved away, and now it's pretty cloudless. It's pretty boring really. So let's head on up to that other viewpoint and I can show you that at least. Yeah? Okay, so let's go. Not bad. Well, here we are at the other viewpoint, as I showed you. You can still see both churches. Now, as you saw on the B-roll, you still get a good panoramic view here. But the Church of Saint Margaret is no longer in front of the mountains. So from this viewpoint, you don't get the mountains behind the church. So it just shows you how where you stand is so important. But still, you know, it's not a bad view. It's an interesting view. You get some nice hills behind there, and I've got a few good shots from there of this one too from here. But also here you then get the Kamnik Alps right behind the Church of Saint John, but in this case the Church of Saint John is not in front of Grintervets. So from down there it's actually nicer, I think, because you get Grintervets, and this section of the Kamnik Alps makes a much nicer backdrop. But still, it's nice here, you know, and you can get a wider perspective, which is quite interesting. So as you can see, the Church of Saint John, Grintervets, is now further to the left. So if you want to get Grintervets in the shot, you have to pull back more and get a wider shot. Now I usually use the 16:9 here, otherwise you've just got too much sky. But you can get a nice wide perspective of the church with the mountains behind, Grintervets on the left. It's a bit hazy at the moment, actually. It's some nice clouds in there, but the haze is quite strong. The polarizer is helping to cut through that haze a bit, and probably the dehaze tool in Photoshop will help a bit too. But it's not the greatest of light. I've had much better shots from here, and I'll stick a few of them up there now to show you. But now you can see that the Church of Saint John is actually closer to Oystries the mountain that was behind the Church of Saint Margaret in the shot, in the position from down there, is now actually closer to the Church of Saint John. So it just goes to show you your perspective, where you stand, and everything just makes a world of difference to your composition and to your image too. So finding that perfect spot is key. I didn't actually find that spot myself. Another photographer did tell me about it, so I'm really grateful to him. I'll put his website at the end of this video. I don't think he's on YouTube, so I'll put his website address at the end of this video to show you. He's a fantastic photographer, and he told me about that spot. I knew about this spot, I found this myself, but he told me about that spot down there. Now, as I said, I won't announce it to the world on YouTube, because we really don't want hordes of groups of photographers and workshop groups coming here, because this is a really peaceful, quiet area and it would just destroy it. It's already happened at the Church of St. Thomas, and I'm not going to let it happen here if I can help it. So as I said, the church is in Plezgania, the other church is in Janče, and that's all I'm going to tell you. So if you want to come out here on your own, do a bit of scouting, you may find this, but come on your own, don't come in groups, okay? And don't bring groups here, please, I implore you. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'm not going to stick around for the sunset, as I said, but I've got some sunset shots from down there, and that's good enough. And I can come back here anytime. Today is, I can see it's not going to be the greatest of days. It's still too windy and I won't get a long exposure shot. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed this little trip around Slovenia, showing you the churches and the mountains. And I'll probably do another video showing you a few more, no doubt. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you like this video, please give it a like. I'd be really grateful. And check out some of my other videos. Okay, so catch you later.